Hello, this is Joe. Courtney, I'm speaking to you from my office in Washington, D.C. on October 12th. We have had obviously a horrific week in which the events in Israel and Gaza last Saturday have really triggered a lot of calls and questions that have been coming into my office. It's no wonder this barbaric, vicious terrorist attack by Hamas on the country of Israel, an ally of the U.S., aimed at, in large part, at citizens, sometimes the most vulnerable citizens, children, elderly individuals, has, I think, sparked tremendous revulsion, certainly all across the world, and that includes, obviously, in Eastern Connecticut. I wanted to just update you again in this video clip just to address some of the, I think, most frequently asked questions and inquiries that have come into our office. Number one, despite the events that are going on in the U.S. House of Representatives, there has been constant briefings and updates, particularly for the House Armed Services Committee, which I sit on. We've also had a universal briefing from the State Department, Department of Defense, intelligence agencies of the U.S. in terms of the latest developments that are happening over there. So I think the number one question that certainly has come into our office is from families and individuals who have loved ones that they are concerned about, haven't heard from, needed help in terms of trying to find a way to get home to the U.S. And number one, I would just tell you that our office has active casework where we've been, through the State Department, dealing directly with the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv. Again, there's one particular case where there's a loved one who is still missing. And so far, I will at least report that the line of communication from the embassy in terms of getting the latest, most current information has been very strong and very direct to the families that are there. In terms of the issue of travel, again, just an hour or so ago, the State Department announced that there's going to be a chartered flight program for individuals, U.S. nationals, as well as dual nationals, in terms of seeking a way to exit the country. And it's going to be an orderly process. If people have questions about it, there's travel.state.gov that has been set up to field inquiries regarding it. And certainly, my office, particularly my district office in Norwich, is on standby if people need assistance in terms of trying to find out more about ways to get travel arranged. In terms of, the overall policy approach of the U.S. right now, I would say that there's three sort of basic goals that all the agencies of the government, led by the president and particularly the Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense, is engaged in. Number one, to strengthen Israel's defense capabilities in terms of extracting Hamas from Israeli territory, also basically trying to rescue hostages that are still missing, and also to eradicate Hamas. What I think happened last week and has been still ongoing in terms of Hamas's actions, I would certainly equate with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, other terrorist groups that really do not deserve to be treated as states or nation states in terms of next steps, both for Israel and its allies like the U.S. Despite the fact that the House of Representatives floor action is suspended for now, while the Republicans are engaged in their leadership contest, I again want to emphasize that the ability of the Department of Defense to transmit defense materials is now, for the moment, uninterrupted. There's already been the first delivery of defense interceptors to help replenish the Iron Dome program, which has been critical to knock down some of these rockets that are being indiscriminately fired into Israel. There's also other requests for precision-guided munitions and artillery shells. Again, despite the strain that the Ukraine conflict has put on U.S. supplies, I will just tell you that the industrial base has been picking up speed because of the demand as a result of Ukraine. And so far, the Pentagon has been able to satisfy Israel's requests for that type of equipment and material. There's no question that at some point, though, the authorities and funding for that is going to expire. We're talking probably in the matter of months, but it just really emphasizes the importance of the House to get itself back in order and get floor action functioning again so that we can get critical emergency supplies over to our ally, as well as also, frankly, address other issues that I completely believe and support need to get resourced. Number one, we need to get more funding into border protection in the southern border, assistance for Ukraine. The allies in Taiwan are also right now doing a lot to beefing up their own defenses and protect their own sovereignty. And there's still more to be done in terms of disaster relief. It is my hope that at some point when we get stability in the leadership of the House, we're going to be able to coalesce around a package to address these issues and also finish our work in terms of a 2024 budget. There have been other questions raised, and I just want to briefly touch on them, is that the Iranian money, which is being held in Qatari banks, that were part of the hostage exchange that took place a month or so ago, was frozen. It was put into a separate account earmarked for humanitarian assistance. Not one penny has been released from that account. And the Deputy Secretary who was briefing us this morning has indicated that the U.S. still has the ability, working with Qataris, to restrict the flow of any money being released from that account. There have been, again, a host of other questions regarding intelligence failures which occurred here. It's pretty, I think, universal opinion that an operation of this magnitude should have been picked up. And I think the Israeli intelligence agency, the Mossad, is certainly regarded as very capable and robust. There was a complete breakdown here. Both, I think, governments understand that, and there is going to be a 9/11 type commission review of how this could possibly have happened, and that there could have been the horrible consequences in terms of human suffering and loss as a result of it. So again, these are, some of the primary questions which our office has received. Again, we welcome your calls, your emails in terms of follow-ups. And this is obviously a fast-moving, evolving situation. But again, it is something which I would end by saying that in the midst of all of the contest that's happening here in the House, there is a joint resolution to express support for Israel to condemn Hamas's terrorist actions. And as of yesterday, it had well over 400 co-sponsors. And I'm sure the minute we turn the lights back on the U.S. House floor, that measure is going to be voted on and sent to the world as a strong message that there is bipartisan support for our alliance and rejection and revulsion of terrorist activity. Thank you for listening.